here with Geraldine, the Senior Vice President for Zenoti, and we're here to talk about software management in aesthetic clinics. Tell us about yourself, Geraldine.
About myself? Well, I'm obviously from the north of Ireland, like yourself, and I went to Queen's University, but like a lot of people, left the country at that stage and started to work in the technology sector. So all of my career has been in technology, mostly the commercial side of technology businesses, and for the large part of my career it was about supply chain technology, which obviously everybody can now talk about that post-Brexit. But moving on from that, a couple of years ago I started to work for Zenoti, and Zenoti is in the wellness sector. So it provides end-to-end management solutions for the salons, spas, and most importantly the aesthetic clinics and the med spas, as they're called in North America. So we provide the end-to-end operating system. It is AI powered, but it's human first. It's all about the customer experience. It's about optimizing what you're doing in your business. It's about making life easier for the providers, the med spa staff that are in your business. So it's how they can improve what they're doing, how they can improve the customer journey. And as you said, AI is behind all of that now. That's the path we're all on today.
And the medical aesthetic industry in Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland is just growing every single year. Some places it's in other countries, in some other countries it's kind of plateaued, but definitely in the island it's just going from strength to strength to strength. And that includes clinics who are choosing to go from a solo clinic and they are opening in other locations, and that means that they're keeping the same software system even though they're growing. What are the red flags that you see whenever a business is doing that?
That's such a challenge. When you start small, and perhaps some of them are even starting as single providers, you know, they're doing injectables and that. So they start small and then they grow and they start to realize they need a bit of technology to help. Perhaps they need a basic booking system, and then they put that in place. But then they start to realize they want to grow their business. They bring other people on. So they have to start to schedule people. Then they need to actually manage the records, which of course is very important when you're in the aesthetic world. So they need something that helps them manage records. And then suddenly they realize they need to bring more customers in the door, and then they need marketing solutions. So it grows, and quite often the solution that you've picked at the very start is not the solution that's going to be able to grow with you. And that particularly becomes important when, as you say, you open a second location, because now suddenly you're not just trying to manage two sets of staff and lots more marketing that you need to do, but you're also perhaps looking to direct customers from one location to another if they're close enough together. If you're booked out in one location or the equipment's sitting in a second location, you want to get the customer to go there. And also you want to be able to do reporting, you want to do analytics, you want nice dashboards that tell you all the great things that you're doing in your business. And none of that often is possible with the software that you started with. That needs to grow as well. And so that's where we particularly come in, where we can help our customers then with managing their businesses and do the stuff that they probably don't want to be doing. They want to be actually working with their customers. They want to be giving them the beautiful facials, regenerative treatments, etc. But we take all of the admin off their hands then. But we also give them some tools that allow them to see where their business is growing, where it needs additional help or monitoring. It helps them manage utilisation, and it really helps them grow even further.
Mm-hmm. And do you ever see customers or clinic owners kind of hesitate to upgrade their system? And how would you speak to them if they were hesitating?
Oh, it's a lot of hesitation. I mean, change management is difficult in any part of your life and in any part of the business world. So it is partly as well about letting them know that they can change easily. This is not going to be a massively painful problem for them to do. And we have staff that are very experienced in making that easy for them. But perhaps most importantly, it's about showing them where the value comes from putting in better technology. This is what they're going to run their business on. And they really want it to be in such a way that it can help them easily grow and bring these new customers in and help with the journey and upsell additional treatments to them. You mentioned earlier about growth. One of the most interesting stats I've come across recently on growth in the med spa industry that we have seen, and we survey and gather data from over 30,000 locations every year, and what we've seen in med spa very recently is growth at individual centres has slowed. Now, I don't have the individual numbers for Ireland, but I'll give you more of a global perspective first. It has slowed so much in that there's 18% growth in new centres opening, but there's only 1% growth 1% in the existing locations that they've got. So that means there's a lot more competition for customers out there. Now, I know more people are doing aesthetic treatments now than ever before, and I must admit, I myself have indulged and will continue to indulge, but it's you have to work harder to keep those customers. That's a big gap that we're seeing in the growth now. So don't get me wrong, we have loads of customers that continue to open lots of spas. We have I was just talking last week with the CEO of a clinic down in Dublin that's got interesting growth plans. I was talking yesterday with one in Paris that intends to move to the UK and Germany and other locations. And so I know there's a lot of growth there, but you have to be careful to satisfy your existing customers and to keep them coming back.
Mm-hmm. And could you kind of give a wee teaser about how do you keep customers coming back?
Oh my goodness, well, a lot of it is about giving them a good experience. I mean, some of the stuff that we've seen is that more than 80% of your customers want to book safe by mobile phones. Okay, they're sitting there, it's 9 o'clock at night, they've watched some great Netflix show, they're thinking how good everybody looks in the show, and they're thinking, I need to look a bit better. And they go on searching and they want to see, and they want to be able to make those bookings, etc. They want it to be frictionless. So that's an area that we can help. We can help make it frictionless for people to book. We can also look at how they're using the membership packages. Memberships are big in the aesthetic clinic business. That's where a large part of the repeat business is coming from and where a large part of the money has been made. When we take a look at the high performing aesthetic clinics versus the low performing, one of the key differences is that the high performing clinics make a lot of use of memberships and the marketing and the experience around a membership program. Even to the point where if you buy a package of services from a clinic and they have a clinic, one in Dublin and they've got one in Belfast, and you may want to do one of your treatments while you're travelling to Dublin and another in Belfast. It's how you make that a frictionless free experience for your customers. So that's one of the ways that we do. But I think it's something like 42% of your customers generate over 80% of revenue. And that's a very precise stat from the med spa, from the aesthetic clinic area. So you have to look after that 42% and make them feel, keep coming back. Upsell additional treatments to them. So that's where we can help, and the technology manages that for you. And it also prompts them. So if they are sitting there at 9 o'clock at night trying to make a booking, it will automatically suggest, 60% of our customers that do this also do this particular treatment. And they'll take a look and you'll tell them about it and they're like, okay, I'll add that on to my booking. That's the sort of thing we can do with technology to help. We understand at a deep level your customers. We understand at a deep level all the different channels that they want to use to book. And we can make that frictionless for them. So there are some of the ways. There are plenty of other ways that we do as well, particularly with the marketing that we do. Because I said we've that deep knowledge of your customers, and we have some AI tools, as we talked about earlier, that actually can track all the ways that your customers are interacting with you. So let's say you do make a booking on your mobile phone. Then you come in and you check in on a kiosk, or you make a call beforehand to ask about where the parking is or whatever. Then you come and we see that whether you bought something, you bought some additional product, which is a big source of revenue for our customers, or you do an upsell on the service. So we can track all of that, and as well, we prompt them to give you a review. So we'll see what the reviews are. So we have a very good, strong picture of who your customers are. And we now have AI predictive technology that can actually predict whether or not we think they will come back or whether they will churn on you. And we have been proven that with 80% accuracy, we can predict. So if we can do that and we can predict, we can tell you then, put them on a VIP list. give them an extra big smile when they arrive. You know, give them a little discount on an extra product.
That's a lovely touch.
All of those things, we can prompt it on the screen. VIP customer, give them this treatment, and then that will help prevent your return and make your retention better. And it's those sorts of things that our top performing customers are doing, and that's what sets them ahead of the rest. And like the top performing med spas that we're seeing, if I look global numbers now, as I said, I don't have numbers just for Ireland, but at the top level they're doing well over like 4.2 million revenue per centre, per location, whereas the more median ones, they're doing just over 1.8 million. And that's a big difference. If we can help you grow your individual location, that's much easier than having to go and open another one 50 miles down the road or 100 miles down the road.
I suppose it kind of goes hand in hand with what aesthetic practitioners are doing now. They're not just offering one-off treatments. They're looking at the client, they're looking at the patient, and they're doing a proper consultation and making a plan from what the patient is asking for. So they're not going, okay, you just need some botulinum toxin. It's like, oh, so what are you wanting to achieve? We could do this treatment, this treatment, this treatment, and instead of just one off that might help with one area, they are putting together that whole package, and that your system is going to help with that.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's about looking at the customer in a holistic way and saying, okay, what's going to work best for that customer, but then keeping track of it and making sure we bring them back and we remind them then that your next treatment is due at this time. You know, please confirm that you're coming. We remind them maybe 2 days beforehand. You know, if yours, are you still coming? Is this time still suit? So we can take a lot of that admin burden off to make sure that people are using their packages, and then at the right moments we can automatically market to them and say, you're coming to the end of this package. 60% of our customers, for example, that finish this treatment move on and do that treatment, or enhance it, or increase the longevity of this treatment by buying these particular products to use at home. And that's where you can really make money in the med spa aesthetics business. It's really by understanding your customers and using technology to help you stay close to your customer. And you think we all go everywhere with our mobile phones in our hands. I'm pretty sure your mobile phone is probably within a foot of you at the minute. So is mine. So that's how we need to be able to give an experience that covers all those different channels and keeps them engaged. And with the aesthetics business as well, you talk about the personalised service that clinicians give their customers. That's the enjoyable part of the business for them. That's what they like doing. They like talking to them and experiencing that. Believe me, they hate doing the paperwork. Absolutely. And one of the areas we have made most advances on in helping our customers recently is by being able to switch on a recorder, transcribe the conversation, and then automatically complete your notes for you. And you just need to read, check and click a button, and that saves an enormous amount of time from the providers. And they're the most important, the most expensive part. Well, almost some of the equipment is very expensive, but the providers are the most important part of your business. And so you want to have them doing what they enjoy doing what they're best at doing, and keeping them busy at that, not spending 30 minutes writing up notes after every appointment. So that's another area where AI can really, really help.
Mm-hmm. And so the 2026 Beauty and Wellness Benchmark report has just been launched, which kind of shows the industry, where the industry's heading, and different tools about how to stay ahead. What does this year's report show?
Well, I quoted from it earlier. Probably the most important stat from a med spa perspective is the fact that it's 1% growth in existing centres, but 18% growth in new centres opening. Now, you might immediately think, let's go and open a new centre. That's the only way we're going to grow. But the smart ones are not just doing that, but they're also thinking, how do I really enhance what's there at the minute? So that's probably one of the most important stats we're seeing come out of it. Another stat that we have noticed as well is that there's a big difference in the average size of the ticket size from the top performing med spas to the ones more in the middle group. And it's quite a difference. It's almost twice as much. I think it's like 484 for the top performing ones if you're in the top 10%. Whereas if you're sitting around the middle 50% from a revenue perspective, you're only getting ticket sizes of 250, 260. And that's a big difference. If you can start to up that ticket size, you're really, really sort of doing a good job as a business owner. And so that's one of the other things. And we do note as well that we've been doing this benchmark survey for years. We note that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the average ticket size was 10% higher. It's dropping. Now, so it's more competitive, the market. So, and we all do that. We'll go on and we'll take a look at the latest radio frequency treatment, and we may go and price 2 or 3 different places very easily. So there's competition there now that perhaps wasn't there 3, 5, certainly not 10 years ago. And so that means that you not only have to be more competitive price-wise, but once again, you have to offer the service and the follow-up, etc. to do that. So that's probably one of the most important stats. But one of the others from an aesthetic clinic perspective we're seeing is utilisation of providers. The top performers are having utilisation statistics of over 80%. And that's super important. These people are expensive. You want to bring them here. You want to keep them busy doing the things that they like doing, but you need to keep them busy. And so that's at 80%. Whereas when you drop down to the more middle of the road performers, their stats, their utilisation is dropping to below 40%. And that's not good. If your staff sitting around, you're overstaffed then. You're spending money that you really shouldn't be spending. So these are areas that jumped out at me from the benchmark report that we've got from an aesthetic clinic. And so once again, that takes us into retention. It takes us into memberships, which also is, by the way, I said, top performers are good at memberships. And it takes us into how do you keep your staff busy? How do you schedule? And that's all part of where, once again, technology can help. We can take a look and we can work out exactly what staffing you need, and we can take the boring parts away from them.
Yep. And so if a clinic owner is listening right now and suspects they may have outgrown their software but hasn't acted on it yet, what is the first step you would suggest that they take tomorrow?
Apart from calling Zenoti, well, of course I'd want them to do that. But you need to start understanding then where the points of pain are. You need to really assess yourself. Okay, what's working, what's not working for me. But you also need to bring your staff with you. That's one of the things we found mostly where this fails, is if the owner comes in and just decides, right, tomorrow we're changing all the technology, and suddenly the receptionist wakes up and whoa, I like this technology and I've been using it for the last 5, 6 years and I kind of know how to make it work and I only need a spreadsheet over here and I know where to click there, but they're resistant to change. So I would say that certainly please do call us. We can walk you through this process, but do take a look at bringing your staff with you, so talk to your staff as well to see where the pain points are that they're having and what we can help with. But also be very clear on what you want to achieve. What are you trying to prepare your business so that you can open another location down the road? Are you trying to see how you can set up a new membership program for your existing customers? Are you trying to get more Google reviews because you don't have enough at the minute and you need a system that automatically prompts all your customers to give you Google reviews? As soon as they have had a treatment, a prompt pops up on their phone and they can quickly click it and give you a good review. What are you trying to achieve? What are your business goals here? Because the first question, if you pick up the phone to us, is we will try to understand where's the problems, but really, what are you trying to do as a business? What do you want to achieve? Because we're there as business partners. And that's what you should think of your technology as. It's something to enhance and transform your business. It's not there just to cost, a line item cost. If you use technology properly, you're taking your business up to the next level. So you think about what you want to do for your business as an owner, and then please pick up the phone to us.
Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us today.